Hi, everybody. This is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. I am with my good friend Steve Good. Steve is the lead for Dreams Quest, a completely superlative role player game. We're going to get an update on what's been happening since he was last on my channel a few months ago.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
The world's most advanced cold wallet for the new generation of cryptocurrency lovers. Descent.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much for making yourself available.
My pleasure.
It's nice to be back. My pleasure. So good to see you. So good to see you.
At least you know who you're actually speaking to today.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so look, do you want to say just a little bit about what Dreams Quest is? And while you're talking, I'm going to be showing this trailer.
Sure.
That you sent me, which is on your Twitter and on your YouTube channel and stuff. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I can't take credit for it. I haven't created any of it. That's the team.
Okay. So what's Dreams Quest?
So Dreams Quest is an RPG open world exploration or experience. You're initially confronted with entering into a world called Azoria. You're finding out that the world is in a state of disarray. Something has happened. And you're realizing that you have a role to play to try to fix things that are now out of order. I won't say too much about the exact details because I want players to find that out in the game.
Right.
But through your journeys and quests, you'll discover that there's a certain level of urgency to what you need to do and why you need to do it. And it's up to you to battle through various places, obtain certain items, restore those items, bring them back to where they belong. Gain access to certain other things in order to try to stop the world from crumbling further and trying to restore it back to where it's supposed to be. And through the mysticism and magic and wonders of being in a dream, anything's possible.
Right.
So we're creating this very immersive, beautiful environment, very colorful, otherworldly, I guess is the way you could put it. Some people might find that it looks rather familiar for odd reasons, and at the same time looks new and exciting and different. So we're putting a lot of time and effort into the creative process to reimagine what things would look like in a dream rather than in the world of reality that we live in here on Earth. And giving players an opportunity to really not just play a game, but also see something that's different. Players will be able to craft and forge. They'll be able to upgrade their character, and naturally, it's a blockchain game, so we're storing every single asset that you earn in the game, whether it's organic matter, whether it's elements, whether it's a weapon or a sword or a ring or an artifact or a book or anything you find. Everything will be an NFT. So that gives us an interesting way to call it a collect and earn game, because now players can collect things. If they learn how to craft, they can craft it on their own. If they don't know how to craft something, they can find other players who are in need of certain organic matter to do the crafting, and they can just buy it off the other player. So what you can imagine is some players are going to just figure stuff out and start crafting. Others will not have figured it out and go buy it or trade their organic matter for the stuff they need. And so it creates an open world in-game experience as well as an off-world or other dreamlike environment for trading and buying and selling items and upgrading items, and then being able to get access whatever you need, because sometimes players will have different random experiences in the game. So what one person has, someone else might need, and vice versa. So we're trying to create an environment that does force people to, or encourage people, I should say, to do some trading, gaining access to some things. And by trading, I'm talking about swapping NFT for NFT. Right. So I'll have several items I have, you have items you need, and we can swap, we can sell, we can buy, trade. And of course, on our marketplace, we'll have stuff for sale. We will have things that are like founders edition items, or editors picks, that kind of thing, where we'll pick out things that we think are really valuable and put them out there. And some players will look at it and say, I have no idea why I need this, and not buy it. And others will be like, ooh, this is cool. And they'll find out later why they needed it. And then there won't be enough of it because we might have, let's say, 100 available and 1,000 people might need it. So now naturally people are going to start, oh, does anyone have this thing for sale? So we leave that to players to figure out how they're going to have to solve that amongst themselves. We'll just create the environment to allow people to get in, participate, and do things and make it fun, but gamify both the inside experience itself, which is just a highly immersive experience in a game and a story, along with external plans that we have to create a much more immersive or collaborative and gaming environment, which you really couldn't say would exist in the likes of a Skyrim or Activision or Epic or any of these. There's just no need for that level of social interaction because you don't own your assets.
Right.
But by giving people ownership and access of assets and seeing them evolve and develop over time, you are able to play in a way that's never been able to be played before.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm listening to it and I'm thinking it sounds a little bit like real life, but set in this dream world. Because in real life, we do all this trading, we all, this exchanging of goods and services and stuff, going there, using those items that we accumulate for certain purposes. And somebody will collect a load and somebody is very, very particular. Right, so I'm reminded of that, but it's inside this dream.
Well, I don't think you're not particularly particular.
Well, somebody else might be, right?
That's true.
But what's it like for your developers, your team of people, as they're playing this and trying it out? What's their experience of it?
It's funny, right? Every time we hire a new person, they immediately start by trying to draw things like grass that's green, buildings that are perfectly square, everything that's symmetrical, forgetting the fact that if you look at even some of the architecture that you'll find in London, like, buildings that we have in London that are in all sorts of odd shapes and sizes, and it's, architectural marvels, pretty amazing stuff that's being made. But what happens is people start by looking at things and being rather limited in their mindset. And then they look at how the rest of the team has evolved and they're realizing they need to step up a little bit and start being more creative. And we have a creative director and we have, several leads that are, pushing the team to think a bit differently. We're creating briefs for every designer on the team to figure out, like, here's a brief, here's what you need to create. We give them the guidance and the direction. And what's interesting is within 2-3 weeks, every designer has now completely gotten themselves immersed into this new world. Right. And they keep asking, what's happened is it goes from, I don't quite understand this. I can see how beautiful it is. I don't know quite how I fit in yet. And when they start to get into it, it's incredible to witness the level of creativity they start bringing to the table. And it's just a marvel to watch. And We've now got, we've gone from just, a crypto IDO startup to a team of over 30 people, more than half of which are now on the design side doing 2D art, 3D art, animation, Unity design, Unity development, the back-end development. I mean, it's just, but yeah, I mean, the level of enthusiasm is growing and growing because they see what they're creating. They're beginning to see the bigger picture. And as we drop in new hints of characters and new hints of buildings and places we're going to go visit, and they get to go and design and build it, they're all like, I want to do this one. I want to do this one. And they're all like fighting over who's going to do what now, which is really awesome. So, I mean, it's progressively getting that way. And as we're bringing, and what's really interesting is we started from a place where trying to get applicants to come and apply for us was, it's hard. And now I kid you not, we have 5 to 10 applicants a week asking to work with Dreams Quest. Wow. Which is so exciting because it gives us the ability to pick out top quality talent. We've got people who've worked on Halo and Elder Scrolls, and it's amazing because we actually have people who've worked on real other games out there who bring a new vibe, a new mindset, a new, way of thinking, and they see things and go, yeah, but that's how we built it over here. So they already know how to accelerate and develop fast. So that's cool because we're continuing to get a lot of enthusiasm. And the team, I think the team really is enjoying it. I think just the production of this video was all of the culmination of the hard work of building the open world area that we've got built. And just taking a snapshot of a small part of it, but the team being able to see that every one of their contributions was shown, from every mushroom to every skybox piece to every jelly pad that you could walk on, those orange pads that you walk across the water, to every rock, which had to be crafted and carved by hand. Every single item, the water, the colors, somebody contributed to that. So you realize the level of effort involved in collaboration to create just a single environment. And that cave is, the little things fluttering around and the light beings flying around, all of that is just the whole team, combining their efforts to a single experience.
That's amazing. I get the sense of a combined labor of love from the team.
Yeah, I mean, artists
Like,
love to create, right? So if
yeah,
you give them something with creative energy and say, go and create, I mean, who doesn't want to just invent new stuff?
yeah, and unleashing that creative energy inside us, that creative spirit, and then
Yes.
collaborating with others. I suppose, I mean, I'm not an artist, but like, like
So am I. I do stick figures.
That's right. but I suppose the heart that goes into a painting when a painter paints, only this is a collaborative effort as they're creating this whole new world and then being immersed in this world as they create it. So that's spectacular.
What I find most interesting is, imagine you have a single person that creates a single piece of concept art, like what's behind me, which you'll see this as a, like every piece of artwork you see inside of the game comes from a piece of artwork like this that we start with, and then we paint that into a real environment. What's interesting is, imagine we start with just one person creating one concept art, and we work with that artist to reach a point where that piece of art has the right colors, the right styles, the right concept. And now we need to go from that to having 15 people who all understand that style. And my biggest worry when I started this whole project was, how do I get 15 or 20 or 30 people, let alone 2 people, to agree on a style? And what's amazing is, once you've set down a style and a certain way of creation, colors, brand, perspective, angles, lighting, colors, and everything else, and all the styles and all. Once you start to lay all that down and everyone sees what the style is, it's amazing how you can just replicate that, where artists will all come in with their own perspectives, but they all fall in line with the brand and style guides that are necessary to create this immersive experience. And it's
like an evolutionary ecosystem.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And now, I mean, I kid you not, I have people from the outside who aren't even part of Dreams Quest just throwing art at us going, hey, can I work with you guys? It's really cool because I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, it's great to see that our Twitter account is, over 100,000 followers now. And our Telegram and Discord channels are, reasonably sized, 35, 40K, something like that. Our Instagram channel is, I don't know how big, 20, 30K. I don't remember the exact number. But it's cool that we have a lot of followers, a lot of engagement, a lot of, people there. But what's more interesting is just seeing the level of engagement we're getting in places like that, where people are coming to us saying, I want to help you, I want to work with you, whether it's PR related or graphic or image related.
Yeah, which is a great portent for what the future holds when you have all these people getting involved in this project. One of the measures for a project that I've used is how large is their social media accounts. Now, invariably, there's going to be loads of bots and everything.
Yeah,
but it does give an idea. If you look at, I haven't looked at, say, Telegram or the Twitter account for Cardano is going to be much larger than the Twitter account for some project that's like 300 on CoinGecko or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one indicator. It's one indicator.
It's at least for us, it's an indicator to tell us the level of interest. And if we see that people are, we put a video out, and if we see people following, that's helpful. If we put a video out and we see people dropping off, that's also equally important.
That's right. That's right. If also you see lots of engagement, and I'll have all the links in the description below so people can go and check this out. But
cool.
Tell me, so you've got a team of 30 developers. How are you funded?
Well, we raised the funds last year from our IDO. So we raised 4.2 mil, and it's not 30 developers. It's about 20 design developer, and we have writers, we have marketing, we have operational things like an HR officer, stuff like that. So, we've got a range of people on the team in total, and we've got our 2 executive producers as well. So, so we're funded because we raised the funds through, doing our IDOs on Red Kite, GameFi, and Duck Starter. And then we've just made sure that we hire wisely. We pay people in a combination of, crypto, USDT, USDC, plus coins. And some people will choose more for the coins, which is great because it keeps our costs down. And some people just need to live and have a salary, and that's perfectly fine. But we still give everybody some coins as part of their salary because we want them to be part of the ecosystem. We want to build that, that future wave of people that have worked hard and they've earned it, and they get some financial freedom for it in the future. And we keep our costs down by just hiring people in lower cost locations. So we're obviously not hiring people in America because it's expensive. We're not hiring out of the UK because everybody wants a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of talent, and actually there's a lot more talent when it comes to graphics and artwork and production and design out of other countries than there is coming out of the UK or US, for example. I mean, the US has a lot of people, but you know, if you look across Europe, you won't find many countries that are really, really big on the artistry side. But when you look in other countries like Poland, for example, as an example,
yeah,
it's a country that there's a lot of graphic and content creation capability. And what's interesting is if you look at the movie industry and you look at, like, you know, the credits for films coming out of the US, you'll see that a lot of the creative process names are Polish names. So it tells you something about it's just in their blood. So I use that as an example. Yes, we have some Polish people on the team, but we have other countries from other places too. And we don't really care where a person's from. We just have to keep our costs aligned so we can grow and build and build as big a team as we can and get this game out. So it's an exciting process because we're creating, you know, a very cross-cultural environment. We've got, I don't know, something like 10 or 12 different nationalities on the team, which is really fun. It's really cool. And we just want to make it a fun place for people to work. And, you know, we welcome people who've got artistic abilities and want to do 2D art, 3D art, animation, just to ping us and let us know. And we're interviewing every week.
Fabulous. And if anybody wants to get involved and, you know, watching this and say, I want to be involved in this team, they should reach out via one of the social media channels. And I'll have the links below. Now, there is a token, the Dreams token. How does that work inside the game?
Well, it's an in-game currency. So, I mean, if you play any game, you know, whether it's Diablo or Minecraft or, you know, pretty much any game, they always have in-game currencies. And in-game currencies are useful for a few things. One is because you want to find a chest. You know, discovering a chest in a game, you get to open it up and it's got some tokens in it, or some gems in it, or some jewels, or something like that. And naturally, when you're playing any game and you head to a marketplace or a tavern or a place where there's crafting or a place where you can, you know, find a person that sells or buys something, then naturally there's two things you're going to do when you play any game. One is you're going to sell the items you've got that you don't really need anymore, because you're not going to drop them because they're valuable, right? They have real value. And even if you're selling them to an NPC, a non-player character, so, you know, an in-game character, not a human, but even if you sell them to a non-player character, we can still reward you by, you know, letting you sell your stuff and then you get your coins. But if you just take all your coins and you pull them out of the game, well, you kind of lost an opportunity to upgrade, forge, buy new stuff, upgrade your weapons, that kind of thing. So we have to create a mechanism that's got both. So when you're in the game, you're playing the game. At some point, you may say, ooh, cool, if I upgrade these things and then I sell these things, then I'll have even more money. And that's perfectly fine. So the objective really for in-game play is you're playing the game, you buy and sell stuff, you upgrade stuff, you forge stuff. The NFTs that you have that are actually in-game assets, some of them you're going to use to forge them together to create a potion, for example. Mm-hmm. And in the process of doing that, yes, you've just lost a couple of different items, but you've now got this new unique potion. And if you're the only one that's got that potion and no one else has figured it out, hey, guess what? You can go sell those on the marketplace. You'd be like, oh, cool, I'm going to sell these. So you could do that. And you could make more money by doing that, and you might sell them with, you know, for Ether or for BNB coins on the marketplace. But within the game, you might just only be doing it with Dreams tokens, right? Or you might just use that potion because, oh, it's a really powerful healing potion. So now a healing potion that's worth $50 or $100, do I use it because I want to stay alive, or do I sell it because it's worth $50 and I'll go make another one later? But now I need the ohm, and I don't know where I'm going to find the ohm, organic matter, the ohm. So now I got to go find the ohm. I don't have enough ohm. So now I'm going to go buy some ohm off people on the marketplace so that I can create it. So that's the kind of mechanisms that we envision will happen. But we'll leave that to the players to actually determine it. And then we'll learn from their behavior what works and what doesn't, because nothing's ever perfection. Sure. And we'll modify and improve on game development as far as the interactions the players have and the way things work as we go.
Okay. And a player could go to PancakeSwap because it's a BSC token. And then bring that in and then use that in the game. But what's to stop somebody becoming a whale and then they could buy up everything?
Well, you know, it's interesting because we're looking at it in terms of we probably won't allow players to deposit Dreams into the game. Okay. So if they can't go onto the market, if they can't go onto KuCoin and buy 10 million or $1 million or 100,000 tokens, whatever, and then deposit them to game, then they can't game themselves around. So we might make it that tokens can be withdrawn or used in game, And this is something we're exploring. I'm not saying it's 100% how we'll do it, but we certainly don't want the whale mentality of, oh, look, I'm going to buy my way through the game and just buy up and gobble up everything in the game. Right. But on the flip side, we can't really stop players from doing what they do on a marketplace. If somebody wants to come onto the marketplace and just start buying everything, that's up to them. I mean, that's just an open free market. But within a game, we want gameplay to be fair and free for all. We want it to be just, a constant, that there's rules of how the game works and everyone plays how they play. And each person's playing in their own, way, learning as they go, discovering, the situation that's occurring in Azoria and why it is what it is and what they have to do to try to restore order and bring things back and try to be the hero that all players want to be within a game. But marketplaces are a different beast. So I think that we can't really control what the market decides it wants to do. And if somebody wants to come and whale their way through and buy up and gobble up stuff and sell stuff and trade stuff, then I don't know there's a lot we can do about that, because it's decentralized, it's MetaMask, and we're not going to interfere in that process because it's part of a public, a public chain, and everyone has the right to do what they do, and how they want to do it is how they want to do it. But within the game, the rules of how the game operates and works, or how players what player can do or not do, are all governed by how a game runs and works. And that's the centralized part. It's not like we're trying to stop or control anything. It's just that a game has to be a game, but a marketplace has to be a marketplace, and we have to respect both of those for their own value systems. Yeah, and we'll let that run.
It sounds to me like you can still have people grouping together, having revolutions or cooperative ventures in order to participate in the game.
Yeah, certainly on the outside, in terms of marketplace, if people want to collaborate and create their own brotherhood or faction to buy and sell and trade with each other, who are we to stop that? Yeah, we can't. And within the game, we'll probably have some form of a chat function so you can chat to other players, albeit that, number one, the game is a mobile game, so that might make it a little difficult to do two things at the same time. And the other thing is that the initial first version of the game will be a player versus environment, so it won't be a multiplayer, it'll be a single player. But what we're doing is building this immersive environment so we can lead that toward a metaverse environment where multiple players could all walk around into the same space at the same time and do things. But it wouldn't be the same quests or the same activities that players have on an individual basis. It'll be different. Right. But we have a much bigger plan in play for the metaverse side of things. And I'm not going to say what that is yet, because there's a lot of development to be done and to figure out what we can do to enable players to build into our environment. We just haven't figured out how in detail. We have a high level plan, but we're just trying to explore how to do what we want to do so that we can enable it. And it's going to be really epic if we can pull it off. But we've got some pretty smart people working on it.
Okay, and when is the first iteration of the game going to be live for people to play with?
We are working as fast as we can. We're doing a bit of replanning. I'm really hoping that we have something we can start to showcase. I mean, as you've seen, we've shown like a walkthrough environment, and we'll have that connected to phone. We already have the two connected, but we haven't shown that. But we'll have like a walkable environment where you're on your phone walking around using the control. So that's half the gameplay is getting the connection working. We're targeting something that's like autumn time frame, you're talking September, October time frame, to have at least an early access out there. That's what we're trying to do. We may have some stuff sooner than that, depending on how fast everyone progresses. And that's why we're hiring more and more people, because the more people we hire, the faster we can go right now. We may find that something slipped, and that would slip normally because of tech related issues that you bump into, or mechanisms that aren't quite working, or calculations that aren't quite working. But we have all these different streams running in parallel: development, all the design work, the Unity development work, and by development I mean backend, like logon and game servers and asset controls and all that kind of stuff. And you've got the front end Unity, which is developing the front end for the user experience for controls and stuff like that. All the design for 2D, 3D is all going at the same time, and animation. And then we've got the game mechanics and tokenomics all being merged together. So there are all these streams running at once, plus sound, music, which people forget, sound effects, voice. All these streams are all being run in parallel, and they're all being converged and overlaid, as you've started to see in that little mini video. We've got sound effects in there, we've got music in there, we've got all of the different components of the design in there. What we don't have in there right now is the tech part. That's the only piece that's not obviously there, because we're not using we are using part of the walkthrough using Unity, we're just not using the mobile front end to walk through, and the back end dev's not seen in there. But you already begin to see the pieces are converging and coming together. So we'll have early access releases. Don't worry, Crypto Rich. You'll be one of those guys who gets a little ping. Hey, just make sure you've got test pilot for your Apple. We've already got Apple accounts set up. We're already working with Apple on getting integrated into test pilot. So we will have early access versions on there for people. So stay in touch with me for that.
As a gaming numpty, what appeals to me, if I remember correctly, is I could hire out. I can have an NFT and rent it out to somebody, a better player. Is that correct?
I'm not quite sure how that'll work yet in the game. There are certainly ideas that we have floated along in the early stages about renting things out. I'm not quite sure in the current iteration how that will fit in, but I certainly can imagine that if you have weapons or armor of some sort that you're not using and you want to rent those out, and they're really, really crafted in a specific way, that we could probably allow those to be rented out. There are certainly a lot of projects developing protocols now for rental. We've looked at that in the past. We just parked it because we had to prioritize get a game built and don't worry about all the little extras. There's so many things we could potentially do technically, but we have to kind of limit how many things we try to do at once, because it's just, do I want a character that can fly and climb? And do I want to be able to rent NFTs, or do I just want to get the game working? It's like that. There's that many things in our discussion on a regular basis about what should we include and what should we not. Right.
And I imagine people in through Telegram and Discord, they get to input their ideas.
Yeah. I mean, our community manager, crypto Banter Girl, she regularly pings me with ideas that have come from community and says, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we add this? Can we look at that? And I mean, mind you, that the community haven't seen much except for what we put out now, which is a pretty good preview. But we have a fortnightly Discord roundtable session where the founders come on and we talk with the community, and we let them know what we're doing. We update them on things that are happening, and we give them an open forum just to update us on what they're looking for, what they want. Can we do this? Can we do that? We had one guy in there asking whether or not he could have like a companion farm animal. Could he have a goat? And I mean, half joking aside, we had considered the idea of players having companions so that you could summon a companion to help you in a battle or to help you to uncover or find something. And now, I kid you not, we literally have a summoning crystal or a summoning element, which is housed inside of a crystal, because you infuse crystals to store your elements. So we do have, not going to be goats, but we will allow summoning, so you can have companions. So, that came from something the community said, and we weren't really planning on doing it right away, but it's moved up higher on the list because people were saying it would be cool to have companions in your game. It's like, okay. So I'm not sure that it'll be in the first version, but it will definitely be in the game to have companions and characters that support you and help you along the way in the game.
Yeah, and no doubt when the first version does come out and people see it and try it, they'll come to you with even more ideas, as well as your team having more ideas.
And all the criticism that goes with it, of all the things you promised that aren't there yet. And it's like, well, just take stock of all the things that are there first, and then we can share a public list of all the things that aren't there that are in development still. And then I think people will appreciate how much stuff needs to get done.
Yeah.
The list is like a laundry list. It's so long.
And it won't get any shorter, I imagine. All right.
No, because we've got, this is only the first realm we're building. We've got another 7 realms of game build to make. What we're doing is releasing a version 1 of the game, which is only taking you to Azoria. But behind Azoria, there's a whole lot more we're building, and a lot more for players to discover. This is just the entrance into the game. There's a lot more coming.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
An artist's dream to be able to create and build all these environments and worlds.
Wow. Okay. And the other worlds could be radically different from Azoria.
They will be. They will be. We have completely different types of realms that, are. Azoria is a very specific style, and each realm will be a different style. I mean, all staying to the Dreams world, but an ice world and a sand world will look nothing alike when you look at them in terms of the environment.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, like the Amazon doesn't look like the Sahara, doesn't look like Antarctica.
Correct. Okay. You got it. Exactly.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to let us know before we finish up?
Subscribe down below to
Very good. And I'll have all the links to the Discord, and I invite people to check that out, and Telegram and Twitter, and go take a look at this and participate. And it might be, this is not investment advice, it might be an idea for you to start picking up a little bit of Dreams tokens from PancakeSwap, because I imagine as the game rolls out, they will likely increase in value because the demand for them will go up as more and more participate in this game. All right, Steve, listen, thank you so much. I so look forward to having you on again. Really, really great to talk to you.
Thank you. It's great to be here as well.
Yeah, everybody, thank you so much. And between now and I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits. This is Crypto Steve and Crypto Rich signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
See you.